Hello, welcome, and welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, and I will be guiding you on this journey. So, it's April. These messages really are, kind of whenever you see them, but I do tend to do them at least monthly. So this month we're using the Work Your Light Oracle deck, and then we're using the Wandering Moon Tarot for additional information. We'll get an Oracle card for the overall vibe, and then of course pull 6 tarot cards and see what the vibe is. I have my little bowl here of all of the zodiac, all of the human design profile numbers. I'm just gonna pick one and let's see who's next. Gemini. So, I haven't gotten to a human design profile yet. I'm still using the same bowl from before, but I'm just sticking my hand in it and pulling one out. I'm not even looking. Instead of going through the whole thing of shuffling on the thing. Yeah, no. I don't know. Let's just get on with it. Oh my gosh, my dog. We have Star Mother. How can you mother yourself? Very, Virgin Mary vibes from this. Clearly this thing about, taking care of yourself. That's what I think when I think mother. Is there an appointment that you need to schedule that you've been putting off? Are you brushing your teeth? Are you are you eating okay? We're just gonna get the rest of the cards out, and then of course we'll just kind of talk about it more. We have the Six of Swords, a Page of Wands. That is too many. We just need 4. Nine of Wands. Oh, did you see that? Interesting. We might talk about that if I remember, because I will more than likely forget. But we might talk about that in the upright and the reverse, because it came out kind of sideways, which, sometimes talks about indecision. That's the Fool card. I don't know if I actually said that out loud or not. 2 more. There's the 2 cards that we need. Okay, so we have the 9 of Swords and the 7 of Stars, which is the 7 of Pentacles, and then the 8 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. I love a progression. I love to see it. So I want to read about the Star Mother from the book. It says, "You are more held than you could possibly imagine, loved and cherished so deeply that if you knew, you would not spend 1 second of your life in separation, worry, or fear. Let the mother carry your burdens. Let her rock away your tears. your fears actually, but tears too. Lay all of your worries, regrets, shame, and guilt on her altar. Please, please, sweet child, do not fear. You are love in motion. If you allow it, you are already healed. Let her remind you of your goodness. Let her love away your fears. Your capacity to love and hold others is limited by your capacity to love and hold yourself. Be compassionate with your sweet body, mind, and soul. Treat yourself like the beautiful spirit that you truly are. Remind yourself that you are doing your best and try not to carry it all on your own. You have got this, and the mother has got you. Let her broad arms take away your burdens. Let her lift the weight of the world off your shoulders. Forgive yourself, my dear sweet child of the earth. I love that. So we start with the Six of Swords, and this time around with the Six of Swords, I see it as like needing to shift a mindset. Swords have to do with our thoughts, right? I mean, it's air, so it's very much your energy coming in hot, you know, like at the beginning here, since you're an air sign. So it has to do with our mind space, right? Like, what does it look like in there? How's it going up in the head space, right? Like, you know, swords have to do with truth, honesty, but it's like divine truth, right? Like it's objective truth. It also has to do with our ego, because that's generally where we hear our ego is in our minds. And our ego is created by the stories that we attach to the experiences that we had, right? Whether it was us attaching those stories or somebody else around us or some mixture of the two, right? So, and in this card, we can see this figure literally walking to the right, and the right side of the card is the future, but they're not even carrying one of these swords. So it's like they're leaving behind even a mindset that they've had. And I love that it's paired with the Fool card, because the Fool card, it's a 0. It's like, you know, making a decision to take a leap of faith. I mean, literally, right? Like, they're already off the cliff. They've committed to it. There's no stopping this now, right? Like, so there is a level of surrender that goes into the Fool card too. There's a level of trust too, because is there going to be a net or something to catch this figure, catch you, really, once you make that decision? And yes, of course, there always is. And if this were to come out in the reverse, this would say to me that there is some level of resisting a new start. But even in the reverse, it looks like there is still like a level of surrender happening here. It's like, this to me feels like, you know, when you see like a magician, and they're like making somebody levitate, and, you know, like their arms are just kind of falling by their sides like they are here. So there's still like even this level of ascension happening here. I was going to say, I had to look because I was like, I believe the Fool card is also air, and it is air. So we're like starting off strong with, you know, Gemini vibes. I think specifically the Six of Swords is Aquarius, but I mean, that's still air, so it counts. But either way, right? I mean, like, there is clearly something new here, and it could even just be a mindset. It doesn't necessarily even have to be like, you know, a lifestyle change or something big. It doesn't have to be anything like that. I mean, of course, when we do change the way that we think, there's that saying like, change your mind, change your life, right? Like, because so much of how we perceive our realities, like I said, right? Like, it comes from the mind, it comes from the ego, it comes from the stories that we've attached to experiences, and that becomes our identity, that becomes our personality, right? So if there is something, and there clearly is this invitation here to change a mindset, adapt a new way of thinking, even just keeping an open mind to a new opportunity, a new way of being. And we have the Page of Wands, and Wands is fire. So it's about our motivation, it's the actions that we're taking, it's creativity, passion, but like, how are we expressing our creativity and our passions? How are we communicating those things? What actions are we taking regarding those things? And with it being a page, the page is like the newbie, right? It's like when you find a new passion or creativity thing, or actually start taking actionable steps towards a thing, it's kind of new, right? But it's also like new and exciting. It's a new adventure. You have like a certain level of enthusiasm towards the thing. That's the Page of Wands. And that could, of course, like be the shift, seeing whatever it is as an adventure, but also like welcoming in fun. Where can you, like find an opportunity for creativity or passion? And with it paired with the Nine of Swords, like, this is such a roller coaster. Because there's like this, kind of feeling of resistance over here. There's some level of like resistance here. There's some level of, because there's the Nine of Wands here. So, I mean, Gemini is clearly on a journey here. And I'm sending all my love to you. So, the Nine of Swords. Like, how much water does a dog need, No, he just had dinner, actually. But, okay. The Nine of Swords is anxiety, fear. I mean, we have these 9 swords that are like pointing down at this figure here, right? So, again, it does have a lot to do about mindset. It's like fear of the future. It's worrying about the past. It's, like just kind of getting like overwhelmed and lost in thought. It's like analysis paralysis. It can be like, this person over here seemed to be like so kind of confident, like walking towards this Page of Wands, and then got to the point of the Nine of Swords where it's like, oh, I'm just not sure. I'm not sure if this is what I should be doing or if it's what I want to do. Like, very heady stuff, right? And it could even be like, the things that you have tried maybe they're just not hitting the way that you thought that they would hit. Or, maybe you're struggling to like find your passion or find your creativity. And for whatever reason, it's like you're feeling like insecure, or kind of almost like kicking your own ass about it, because we have the Nine of Wands here, and this is the Wounded Warrior card. The Nine of Wands is, and also to back up a little bit, nines are individual completion. So there is a level when being at the Nine of Swords, it's like you have thought of all of the things. Like, you've considered all of the what ifs, you've considered all of the whataboutisms. Like, you have already tried to figure all of those things out here with the Nine of Swords. And so again, with the Nine of Wands, wands being about action, communication, right? All of the things that I explained with the Page of Wands. But, you know, like, it's getting to a point of, like I just said, like feeling like your ass has thoroughly been kicked. And that could just be by experiences, you know, life lessons, because wands are also information, whether you're giving information or you're getting it. But when we actually try things, right, like when we go out and we actually do something, we learn, we get more information, we're more knowledgeable than we were prior to trying the thing. And that's how we become wise, right? And really, like, there's only one way to get that information too. You have to go out and like try. But when you get to the Nine of Wands, it's like, man, you know, that journey from the 1 to the 9 has been quite the journey. But the message with the Nine of Wands is take a rest, like rest as much as you need to, but don't give up. Hell no. Don't give up. There's still work to be done. And also, even through the Nine of Wands, like that's how you figure out like what works and what doesn't. What do I like doing and what do I not like doing? I think these are like actually crystals. I mean, they look like wands too, but I believe that they are technically crystals, but you can see like they're even cracked. Which, you know, I mean, it's wear and tear. I mean, like there's a lot of cards in here that are also just from shuffling, just because I used them, right? Like the edges of them are a bit worn, but you know, like we pick up scars along the way. Like I'm sure every scar that you have, it may not be attributed to a good experience. And if it's not, I'm so sorry. But it's attributed to an experience, right? Some good. Maybe some of them have a funny story. Maybe some of them have a sad story, right? But there's a story attached to those things. And then we have the Seven of Pentacles. And the Seven of Pentacles, Pentacles having to do with our physical body. It's our money, how we get it, how we spend it, how we save it. It's our time. It's, you know, the resources available to us or that we acquire. It's the resources, anything tangible, anything you can touch, anything monetary, anything that has, you know, monetary value. And the Seven of Pentacles is focusing your energy onto a project, onto a thing, or even onto yourself in order to build it into something. You know, we have this tree branch here with all these stars hanging off of it. That didn't just happen. Like, you know, this tree grew branches, and those branches had to be able to hold these stars or fruit, you know, like it had to have been watered. You know, and maybe that's, of course, like, you know, we have this pairing here. It's like, you know, the thing that you have been focusing your time on, whatever that is for you, you know, again, it might just be teaching a lot of lessons, you know, like really giving you a run for your money. And you've stuck with it though, with the Nine of Wands. And if you have made it this far, I'm trying to get better at this, inserting a little self-plug, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. But if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, even if it's just an emoji. I love emojis anyway, but it really helps your girl out. I'm focusing on like growing this channel. So again, like it would really help me out. Back to you. Of course. And then, like I said, we have this 8 of stars, 8 of pentacles. So this focused energy that you've been putting into the 7 of stars, this is like, you're starting to see the fruits of your labor here. This is like really getting into like the practice, and like it's like the repetition of the thing that you're doing is what helps you get good at something. They're holding a needle and thread. So, the 8 of pentacles talks about growing something, but it's still like focusing your energy into a thing in order to quote unquote perfect it. Because the more you practice, the more energy you focus on a thing, like you just get better at it. So even if there's something that you're doing that you just don't feel like you're good at, but if it still is, creating a spark within you, because I mean, like, there's nothing really here that's like saying to start necessarily anything new, but it is saying, like focus on, like put the work in. Queen of Swords, this is like making a decision is what I like just kind of keep hearing in my head, and that's not like what I want to say, but I said it. So I mean, it's true. Make a decision. The Queen of Swords, again, with the individual aspect, we have these 2 9s out here. And I didn't even like put 2 and 2 together that we have 2 9s out on the table. But 9s have an individual aspect to them, and so do the queens, because the queens are when we recognize the energy of the suit within ourselves. Swords having to do with our minds, like we talked about with the 6 of Swords. So this is, having clarity of thought, knowing exactly what you want to do. This is, the sword of truth. This is resting on your divine truth. But again, like, I said before, it's making the decision to focus on and be in your truth or discover it. We have the Magician. I kind of talked about the Magician. Well, not this magician, but a magician with the Fool card. I also love that we have a progression from the 7 of stars to the 8 of stars. Love that. And then we have this progression from the Fool card to the Magician, because the Magician is a card that comes right after the Fool. This is recognizing that you have all of the tools that you need right now to do the thing that you want to do. And, we usually get stuck in, well, if I had this, or if I looked this way, or if I had this amount of time, or blah, 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 then I would actually do it, right? But the Magician is here to say, you have exactly what you need right now. And as you are, moving forward, you're taking steps forward, because I think as a magician, I thought the Magician was fire, but it's actually Gemini. I love that. That's beautiful. Let's just sit with that for a second. That's beautiful. But this is saying that, again, right, you have what you need right now. And as you are moving forward, if you need something, it will show up. Like you have the sword, you have the pentacle, you have the wand, and you have the cup. So you have all of the elements at your disposal. The skills that you already have right now are exactly what you need to move forward. And again, to really drive the point home, if there is anything else that you end up needing along the way, it'll show up exactly when you need it. I'm going to give a Harry Potter reference just really quick. The Sword of Gryffindor, right? Like, I think it's the last movie that I always kind of think of, that it shows up in the sorting hat, right? Like, and then Neville grabs it and then eventually ends up like cutting off the snake's head. But that's what I mean. Like, it's like whatever you need, it will show up for you exactly when you need it. And all that other shit, like, you know, I can't do this until, or I don't have, or whatever, that's all excuses. I get it. I see you. I do it too. We have the Hanged Man, which is about seeing things from a different perspective. There could be a delay, but it could, if there is a delay, then it's again, you know, like the purpose of it is to see the situation from a different perspective. I'm actually kind of curious what the author of this deck, like what they say about the Hanged Man. Alter your view of the world for a while and find the answers through waiting and balancing. Some sacrifices are worth the effort. Yep. And then we have the Eight of Cups behind, which is basically a sacrifice, because that's recognizing when it's time to leave something behind. But this is more emotional than it is mental. Like the Six of Swords is more of a mindset shift. The Eight of Cups is about recognizing that the cups that you have been offered, or the cups that you have been drinking out of, like the energy of those cups has dissipated, and you recognize that there's the Nine of Cups available, which is wish fulfillment, and you decide to head in that direction. The Star card, hell yeah. The Star card is Aquarius. So, I mean, we have a few Aquarius cards out here. And this is about trusting the process, having faith. It's also about like being the center of attention and like allowing yourself to be seen. And then the Nine of Pentacles is, again, you know, like with the nines, individual completion. It's, you know, being financially independent. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards, Gemini. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.